The video needs some inspiration, and a cappella would be really dope. So, you know that. I love mentoring young people, entrepreneurs and artists.
Jesus has overcome, and the grave is overwhelmed.
I want to help them discover who they really are and what they're capable of. I love being there to encourage them when life gets really hard. When we humans enter the dark night of the soul, we need others to bring light so that we can see. As much as I love offering that support to others, there have been times in my life when I was desperate for it myself. Four years ago, I was experiencing a lot of momentum in my work. New opportunities, awards. I had no idea what was happening beneath the surface. I was doing my best to manage the tension between work and family, but I was working a lot, and I was carrying work home with me a lot more than I realized. I had a very high threshold for stress, I thought, so I would push and push without stopping. I was trying to make the most of my life, honestly. The fact is, though, my mental and emotional health was walking on thin ice. He is what we are looking for. I've been faithfully committed and involved at my church for many years. I'd say I was doing the right things, spending time in scripture, praying, being faithful to the basics. But everything started to unravel with a very difficult client situation. Someone refused to pay for a large amount of work, and I tried to navigate that problem by internalizing it. But I couldn't figure it out. It became extremely stressful. And then all the other stressors that had always been there started impacting me in a new way. I remember driving to work one morning and noticing that my hand was shaking on the steering wheel, my anxiety manifesting itself physically. But I kept trying to force things to go the way I thought they should go. Then more happened. An international trip that wore me out, an uprising in my neighborhood. My filter for stress was breaking down. I burned myself out and became physically ill. I was given a medication that reacted to my body in a terrible way, and it caused stroke-like symptoms. I was in and out of the hospital several times. When I look back to that time, I see that it's possible to talk to God, read the Bible, go to church, lead at your church, mentor others, and be generally faithful to your responsibilities, and still in some ways be living out of sync with how God has actually designed us to operate. The cultural norms around us, our internal desires, and our sense of identity and ambition are all very powerful to direct our steps, when really God should be directing them. For the first time in my life, I started having anxiety attacks. I'd get super dizzy and not recover for long periods of time. I started struggling with depression on and off. One thing that helped was prayer. I found comfort in reading the Psalms, the laments of King David. I felt connected to those words. I reached out to other men, friends, and mentors who are older and wiser than me. I told them I was afraid. They prayed for me and shared their experiences. I opened up to my wife. I told her that I needed help. I called the Christian counselor that I trusted, and I walked into his office seeking wisdom about how the brain works and how that overlaps with spiritual realities. That was a major turning point for me. The next 3 years became a very intentional practice of self-care and a return to the basic discipleship that would help me live in rhythm with the Spirit of God and not just my ambitions. I'm still a work in progress for sure, but I am seeing a lot of progress. I've always wanted God to maximize my life, and these last few years have shown me that my desire for that has a lot to do with discipling and mentoring others to help them understand this new way to be human, a way to be human that was modeled, revealed, and made possible by Jesus, and to continue being discipled or mentored in community myself. I still work hard. I'm just much more careful about who's actually directing my steps.